Antarctica is the iciest place in the world. There's so much ice here that only a few valleys in all of Antarctica are virtually ice-free. Everywhere else, ice encases the continent. But Antarctica's icy cover is deceiving. Surprisingly, much of this ice is on the move. Antarctica may appear to have a single coating of ice, but not all the ice on the continent is the same. The majority exists as ice sheets that cover the land and slowly move towards the sea. From land's end, the ice continues to move as ice shelves that extend over the sea. And beyond the ice shelves is seasonal ice that freezes the sea in winter and thaws in summer.
We're a mile above sea level, and even though it's incredibly flat, there's actually 2 miles of ice below us.
Most people think of this as just snow, my colleagues and I. This is a collection of chemicals and gases that are characteristic of the climate when the snow fell. Now the snow here never melts, it just piles up layer after layer and gets finally compressed into ice. But in order to see those layers, you have to go underground. So let's check it out.
It's a lot like looking at a very high-resolution photograph of how climate has changed in the past.
You can really see the different layers in the pit. So this is 1 year's worth of snow accumulation, and there's a 2nd year's worth of snow accumulation here below it. And we can figure out what the climate was when that snow was deposited.
Researchers here are drilling cores of ice to investigate Antarctica's climate history. These ice cores contain bubbles of ancient atmosphere.
Real slow. Nice and slow.
Levels of greenhouse gases trapped inside the ice reveal times when conditions were cold or warm.
Good? All right.
We're looking back about 100,000 years back in time, and that goes through the current warm period and the last glacial period.
But ice has existed here for millions of years. And since gravity steadily moves the ice sheet towards the sea, even the oldest ice can tell just part of Antarctica's climate past.
But the length of ice records only extends back to maybe 1 million years or so back in time. If you want to go further back in time than 1 million years, you have to go with rock records.
Finding the rock layers is a challenge on a continent covered by ice. As ice sheets grind across the land, they swallow up the rock layers that detail Antarctica's climate history.
There's been this erosional bulldozer, if you like, the ice sheet just bulldozing the rocks on the continent. There are no rocks left of the age we're after.
As an ice shelf extends over the sea, the warmer water slowly melts away the bottom of the ice, dropping stones to the sea bottom. So geologists are exploring places where ice has deposited them in layers of rock. The best sites are the ocean basins beneath McMurdo Sound. Here, marine life thrives in the salty, freezing waters of the sea. Over time, different sea plants and animals have adapted to changing ocean temperatures. Geologists with the Andrill Drilling Project will core into the seafloor rock layers to learn how long ice sheets have existed on Antarctica and how ice here has affected global climate.
Right now, Antarctica seems to be locked in a very cold climatic condition. That wasn't always that way.
Andrill geologists are not studying the ice itself. They're using sea ice or the ice shelf as a platform to support a rock coring drill rig. They're sending a drill through the ice and down nearly 1,000 feet of water to bore into seafloor rock layers. But drilling on ice is challenging. First, Andrill will drill on the McMurdo ice shelf. Although it looks like the ice is frozen in place, the ice shelf is in constant motion.
We're sitting on this floating body of ice, 600 feet thick. It goes up and down once a day with the tide, 1 meter or so. It's moving to my left at about 150 meters a year. One of the problems we have, if this ice freezes onto our drill string and it goes up and down with the tide, it's just going to rip it out of the ground all the time, and we won't be able to get any core.
So Andrill engineers created a hot water drill, a moving ring that shoots jets of steaming water to melt a wide hole through the length of the ice shelf. The hole allows Andrill to continue drilling as the ice shelf moves more than 70 feet during the 3-month drilling season.
And so what the drillers will do is deploy it on an angle and anchor it into the sea floor, and then the ice shelf will have moved over the top.
Then, Andrill will drill on thin sea ice.
We're standing right now in the southern part of McMurdo Sound. Seasonally, this region will break out. The sea ice that we're standing on will melt out.
Just 20 to 26 feet of sea ice supports Andrill's massive drill rig.
We have a drill rig that weighs 40 tonnes. That's before we add any drill pipe to it. So we add airbag flotation to compensate for the weight of the drill pipe that goes all the way to the sea floor, and we inflate that progressively as we add more pipe to it so that we can continue to drill effectively.
Andrill's drilling innovations on sea ice and the ice shelf will reveal a continuous record of Antarctic climate conditions since the continent plunged into a deep freeze.